So here we go, the Compound Women's Open gold medal match. Jane Gogel from Brazil taking on Sheetal Devi from India. John, don't want to talk about the obvious, but there's a bit of an obvious difference between these two. Gogel in a wheelchair.
Yeah. And the armless archer. Take two, yeah. So it's the female version of Matt Stutzman. This should be interesting.
Yeah, incredible.
She'll obviously, yeah. Obviously, if she's been watching Matt, you know, and his ability to shoot, not just on the para circuit, but the able-bodied. So let's see what transpires.
Gogel starting with an 8, making an immediate change to the site and using a shoulder release. Devi puts it into the 9. So John, look, at the start of this match, it's an opportunity for us to showcase Paralympic sport at its very, very best. I think the Paralympic sports as a whole have become more popular. Certainly, there's a lot more coverage of Paralympic sports, and seeing wheelchair athletes is something that it's almost normalized, thank goodness. But it is still something special to see an armless archer. I mean, it is a phenomenal overcoming of a disability.
But the compound bow and the equipment that's available to these people, you know, they can shoot against the world's best. You know, just because they have a disability, it should not stand in their way. You know, this young girl, she can become massive, you know.
Well, fantastic start from Sheetal Devi from India, going 1 point ahead. You talk about the equipment, so this is adapted equipment to allow these archers to shoot. Tell us a bit more about it. What are the types of equipment you see these days?
So you see the Brazilian, she's shooting a conventional setup. She's shooting a hand release, you know, whereas the Indian girl, she's shooting a harness, but she's shooting a back tension release aid. So the hardest thing she finds is to actually put the arrow onto the string and then locate her release aid onto the D loop. Then everything else is just through back tension and her, if you like, her body weight going through the shot. So she's got more body structure, so she's got more stability than the wheelchair archer, really.
So tell us, how does Devi actually release the arrow? Is it literally just getting to a point in the draw that the arrow goes off?
It will be her bow when she settles down onto the shot. It will be holding at about, let's say, 15 pounds, but the back tension release aid will go off a predetermined weight. So she'll set that maybe a pound heavier than the holding weight of her bow. So it'll go purely on pressure that she pushes through the bow.
So the accessibility of archery fully on show here in this Compound Women's Open gold medal match. Brazilian in the second hits her third 10 in a row.
So she's using her gluteus maximus muscle. So she draws up and obviously uses one of the biggest muscles in your body. Good group.
That's your bum to everyone else.
That's your bum. Yeah, your bum. Yeah.
You don't see that much movement. It's very subtle, isn't it? Until she actually releases, and then I guess from the release there's a sort of a knock-on effect.
Absolutely, it's like an explosion.
So after two great shots in a tight group, one going high right for Gogel, a 9 to draw level for Devi. And that's just what she gets. So all square here in this match.
28 to 27. 56 points for both.
Devi is so stable. Yeah, Devi is so stable on her shot. If we can actually see when she's drawing a bow up, she has a spirit level on her scope, and when she's expanding through her shot, you can see how stable the bubble is sitting, because she's not inducing any torque into the bow whatsoever.
Yeah, just totally high quality athletes here, shooting in a match that could not be tighter, 56 apiece. So, John, tell us about Paralympic qualification as we start to turn our eye towards Paris.
So we've obviously got Pilsen coming up very soon, World Championship. You know, there'll be, for the gents compound, 16 places up for grabs there. You know, and any category that's got 32 archers, you know, compound men, compound women, the top 16 will automatically qualify a position for their country.
So you qualify quite a long way in advance, don't you? You've got plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah, but you only qualify positions for the country. It's not for the individual.
So you're qualifying berths rather than your own position.
Absolutely.
So just drifting out there a tad. But that one will go for a measure.
Jane's shooting strong.
Yeah, she seems to have just sort of got into her groove now. She's settled down, hasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're up against an archer that you've not seen much coverage of, you know, you've just got to shoot your own match.
A lovely perfect there from Jane Gogel, who definitely is settling into this one. A 10 required from Devi.
Yeah. Jane looks comfortable now, so she seems to be in the zone.
Well, 10 limits the damage a little bit. I mean, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with that measure. First arrow being marked as an 8 asterisk for a measure, so she'll want that one to be bumped up to a 9 for sure. But even if it is, she's going to be trailing Devi for the first time to Gogel, who really has settled in. Do you find that in the pattern of a match, John, that you take a few arrows to get into it and then you can settle down?
Because you come straight from the practice field into the arena, you know, it's all about that, managing that adrenaline. You know, you just want, for me, when I was shooting, I just wanted an arrow to hit the gold. I'd work on that then. As long as it was in the gold, then I'd realise whether I was aiming a little bit low. And I always used to tend to aim a little bit low, allowing for the adrenaline just to take that arrow a little bit higher. And then you could judge that based on your first shot. But you've got to be honest when you shoot. You've got to sort of give it a score yourself before you get the score that has been announced to the crowd.
Yeah, that honesty. I mean, it runs through to the non-disabled version of the sport as well. That consistency, that ability to, as you say, John, be honest with yourself. Was that a good shot? Was it a bad shot? Did I execute it well? Did I miss? Was the wind blowing? There's all these tiny little factors make what seems like a very simple sport actually extremely complicated.
Yeah, and we all get lucky. That's the thing. You just got.
Those 4 World Championship titles, they were all lucky, were they?
I'm not saying I wasn't. At times I was lucky. I'm not saying I shot my best, but you don't necessarily have to. Good shot.
Puts a bit of pressure on Gogel here. Now.
Yeah.
Is that pressure?
All to shoot for now.
Yeah, just a single point in it. Devi needs to follow that 10 up, though.
Yeah, good shot. She fancies it.
Quick shot there from Gogel.
Yeah. Can she finish it off with 3 10s?
Bit of movement. First time we've seen that level of movement. And that's what's pushed it into the 9.
Yeah, you could hear the wind through the mic then, so, you know. And the archer feels it, but they've got to believe that they can hold through it.
So a 30 is followed up by a 29, and Gogel maintains that 2-point lead. They will, of course, go and check the arrows down at the target, but it does look like it's a 115 plays 113 going into the final end. One point, John, that we talked about in able-bodied archery, the likes of Sara Lopez from Colombia, for example, shoots extremely quickly. Her process is fast, and it puts pressure on the opponent. There's not a huge amount of time to recover, both physically and mentally, from the shot before for her opponents. Was that a little bit of the case here for Devi?
Yeah, absolutely. You get into your own rhythm, and then you start to dictate how the match pans out, if you like. And all you're then doing is quickening the other archer up. You know, so in that instance, it puts them under more pressure because they're not comfortable with their own shot routine. You've got to slow the match down to what you're comfortable with. Yeah, you get 30 seconds, because obviously we get a little bit longer in the para movement. We get 30 seconds opposed to the 20, but you could still dictate how the match pans out.
Well, this one remained tight through the first 2. Gogel broke away in the 3rd. Looked like Devi was putting some pressure on her at the beginning of the 4th, but Gogel's maintained that 2-point lead, and it will be Devi to shoot first in the 5th, trailing by 2. Not insurmountable, but Gogel seems to have hit her stride here.
Yeah, she needs a 10.
Well, she gets it. You called it.
Yeah.
And, she got it. Another quick shot from Gogel, and that's also in the 10 by the looks of things. Now it starts to look a little bit more of a steep hill to climb for Devi. She needs another 10 here, really.
Yeah. Yeah, long hold.
Yeah, just started to see slightly longer holds from Devi. Perhaps the pressure that Gogel's putting her under. Ooh, now that's a close one, isn't it? What would you
Yeah.
call that?
I think-
8 or a 9?
I think that's a 9. That. She
John
needs a
calling
10.
it a 9. She certainly does. Can she finish in style with a 10 and put some pressure on her opponent? Well, yes, she can. A 142 set. Remember, the target, the maximum target is 150, so that is not a bad score at all. Oh, but there you go. What a finish. That measure makes no difference now because finishing with a 10, Jane Gogel has taken this either 144 to 141 or 144 to 142.
28 points for Jane Karla Gogel, 29 for Sheetal Devi.
And it was marked up to a 9 for Devi. She finishes on 142, collects the silver medal, but Jane Gogel took a couple of ends to get into her stride, and then she powered on through. And Jane Karla Gogel from Brazil is the gold medalist in the compound women's open division here in Nove Mesto.
43 points. The gold